everybody. Thank you for joining us. You are now tuned into the BAN's Guide to Untangling Textures and Unifying the Natural Hair Community. I am your host and moderator for the evening, Brittany Oniki, and we have an exciting panel of bloggers and YouTubers and natural hair experts and just fabulous Black women who are embracing their culture. And we are excited to talk about this conversation, and hopefully you'll join us too. So I am just going to go ahead and introduce our panel that we have, and others will be joining us later on in the show. First up, we have our resident YouTuber and fabulous rock mom, Mama Day. We also have joining us Robin from the Good Curl blog, and we also have Sean joining us this evening. So, ladies, in that order, I'm just going to have you guys introduce yourselves to the Entwine Couture community. Mama Day, let's start with you. Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you, Brittany?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Well, my name is Mama Day, and I'm a naturalister for 4 years. I do YouTube, Mama Day, YouTube Mama Day, and I've been natural 4 years. Yeah, and I'm excited that we are finally about to get this conversation going tonight.
Yes, you have wanted to talk about this for a very long time. So I look forward to
Yes.
hearing your thoughts, your comments, and what you have to say. Robin, it's our first time meeting. So hi, how are you? It's a pleasure to meet you today.
Hi, it's a pleasure to meet you guys too. And I'm excited as well, just as Mama Day is. And I'm Robin, the Good Curl Josie. And I also have a channel on YouTube as well as my own blog. And I've been natural for 3 years. And I recently just chopped it all off again. So I'm kind of happy about that too.
Awesome. And Sean, it's also good to see you this evening. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Brittany. Nice to meet you. My name is Sean, and I have a YouTube page under Sands, like the Sands of Time, Sands, and I've been natural a little over 3 years.
Awesome. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to briefly summarize the, I guess, topic of conversation that's brought us all here this evening. And it is basically a very, very popular natural hair blogger. Her name is Curly Nikki. She has a blog, and on that blog, I believe her section is called Curl Icons, and she
Mhm.
featured a YouTuber named Sarah, who is Caucasian. She's a Caucasian woman. She has curly hair. She invited her to join the natural hair community, and there were some mixed emotions and some mixed feelings about her being included on, I guess, a predominantly African American natural hair site. So I think as I read through all of the posts and her responses, Curly Nikki's blog as a whole, my question, I think, to kick off the conversation would be, what is your definition of natural? I think that is where we'll kind of lay the groundwork for where this conversation is going to go. So I toss that question to each of you ladies. We'll go Mama Day, Robin, and Sean. What is your definition of the word natural? It can be in terms of hair, it can be in terms of health and wellness overall, but when you hear the word natural, what do you think? What comes to mind?
Um, it's natural. Like there's nothing that changes it whatsoever. It's what you're given. You haven't altered it. That's what natural is to me. I won't go far into it. I'll just stick with that for now. And I will say, yeah, what I think is natural is basically what you were given. You have not altered it. That is natural, in my opinion.
Okay.
And I think for me, being natural is similar to what she's saying. It's just how the texture of your hair naturally grows out of your head without it being manipulated, straightened, or anything like that. There's other things people talk about all the time as to whether or not you're natural or not, but I'm sure we'll touch on that in a few. But it is basically how your hair grows out of its head.
Well, I consider natural pretty much as the other ladies, nothing that can be altered by chemicals or anything that's not natural. There are, I mean, some natural, they say, uh, straightening treatments and all that. I really don't get into all that, but anything that grows out of your head, as far as now, another issue with coloring, and I guess maybe we could talk about that later, but I just think anything that has not been touched by any type of chemicals that will alter its state, that's what I consider natural.
Okay, and we have by definition here, this is an actual dictionary definition, natural hair. That is growing from your scalp and has not had the texture permanently altered is the definition of natural hair. So then, by definition, if we're going to now say that African American women have textured hair or curly hair, afro hair, kinky hair, nappy hair, whatever adjectives you would like to describe, then one can say that someone of a different race or ethnicity could also have the same texture of hair naturally unaltered. Would you guys agree or disagree with that?
I
Yeah,
agree.
I
I would
agree.
agree.
Yeah, I
Okay.
totally
I
agree.
agree with that.
Is there anyone who disagrees for now? Okay, coolness. So we have another panelist joining us, and that would be Sarah. So Sarah, go ahead and introduce yourself to the Entwine Couture audience. And the first question that I asked our panelists is, what is your definition of the word natural as it describes hair or a way of life? Just when you think of that word, how do you define it?
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Sarah, and I go by Waterlily716 on YouTube. And my definition of natural hair would be hair that grows out of its scalp in its natural condition that you haven't altered in any way. That's pretty much it.
Okay, so we pretty much are all agreeing on the word natural. So let's just take it one step further when we talk about altering it and the way that it grows out of our head. Now, does manipulating it count? Do products count in terms of whether you're natural or not natural? Are we just talking chemicals? Are we talking heat as well? How far do we want to take the debate? I don't like that word debate. It just seems so combative. How far do we want to take the discussion as to how we embrace each other and who is considered a part of that natural community and who is not? So case in point, I'll throw myself into the ring at first. So I wear makeup. I've colored my hair. I straighten my hair. What else? So let's just take those three things: heat, color, and makeup. And I put product in my hair. So I use product to enhance the curl pattern. I don't just, wake up and put shea butter on my hair or something like that and just wear a fro. I like to define the curl. Am I to be embraced in the natural hair community, or will there be some who are, oh my goodness, you color your hair, you're no longer natural. You put heat in your hair, twice a year for holidays, you're no longer natural. And is that just one person's opinion? Or do we need to have such a concrete definition of natural hair community as to include some people and leave other people out? And I know that's a loaded question, so you guys can pick and choose what you respond to and how you respond. But just what are your thoughts on this entire just natural hair community?
Let me jump on it.
and ride it all the way. Jump on it and ride it all the way to the bank. Go ahead.
Let me jump on it. And I will say I dye my hair. Now, I dye my hair. My hair is semi-natural. I would say semi-natural. Now, I actually dye is a chemical. I cannot fault and lie that I have altered my hair. Henna or dye will alter your curl pattern. People say, oh, no, it doesn't alter. Yes, it loosens your curl pattern. It is a chemical. It is not natural. Therefore, am I sit there going to be a natural Nazi and say you're not natural? No, do you, boo? Do you? You know what I'm saying? I am now growing out my dyed hair because I'm at that point where I'm like, okay, I want to be 100% natural. And in all honesty, it's a chemical. Like there's peroxide, there's stuff you're putting in your hair, and to me, it's not natural. But at the same point in time, I still claim to be natural because I'm more natural than I am relaxed, and it's kind of just one of those oxymorons. And it's my hair, so I can call it whatever I want to. And if you don't like it, you know what? Comment below. But I'm still gonna say that I am just a semi-natural, and people don't like that title. They want to say that they're natural, and I'm not knocking you, and I'm not saying that you're not natural, but I'm just a little more of a realist, and I am realistically saying that me dyeing my hair is not natural because it's actual chemicals. And I just think that's just it's like I don't know. It's just like drinking water and you put Kool-Aid in it, but you didn't put sugar. It's still altered.
Who does that?
I'm just saying that's the best. That's the best metaphor I could give
That's
you.
metaphor. Okay. So it's not all the way water, but it's not all the way bad for you either. So you're somewhere in the middle.
Exactly.
I got you.
Exactly.
So Sarah, so honestly, your feature on curlynikki.com is what's sparking this conversation about natural hair and textures. So I want to ask you a couple of questions. First of all, it's a pleasure to meet you. I was excited that you agreed to come on our webcast. So what I want to know, 'cause I'm a little late to the conversation, how long ago was it that you were featured on curlynikki.com?
I want to say it was at the beginning of June, maybe
Okay.
either the beginning. Like I want to say it's been a couple weeks.
Okay.
Maybe the beginning of July. Yeah.
Okay, coolness. So this is fairly recent information that's coming to social media and to the internet. So tell me about just that experience, how it happened. Did you reach out to her? Did she reach out to you? Are you guys cyber friends on social media? How did you guys link up in the first place to be featured on her blog?
So I actually, I was on Curl Talk on the naturallycurly.com forums, and a Naturally Curly employee had posted on there, hey, we're looking for people to feature on the Curly Nikki blog. So I just emailed them, and then they're like, oh, sure, this is great. And they emailed me an interview and stuff. And then eventually Curly Nikki emailed me and to let me know that the feature was up. So that's how I got into it. So some people don't realize that Curly Nikki and Naturally Curly are kind of together.
Ah, I also, you learn something new
I
every
didn't know
day.
that either.
I did not know that. Okay, so this then takes me back to we've defined natural hair as hair that grows out of your hair chemically unaltered. I think we were all in agreement in saying if that is the case, then someone of a different ethnicity that's not African American can say that they are part of a natural hair community. So now let's talk about curls. So Naturally Curly is a forum that I've been on years ago, but I don't keep up with it. But that was one of the first, I would say, I guess, hair communities, online hair communities that I participated in, and they do a lot of hair typing, which it overwhelmed me. I just really didn't want to get into it, so I kind of strayed away from that and went specifically to blogs and YouTube channels of women that look like me. That is where I got my information. So there are plenty of people who still participate in that forum for the wide variety of information. But with that being said, that forum in the hair typing system will include biracial women and Caucasian or other women that have curly hair. So now let's talk community. Is there room enough for everybody to have an inclusive curly hair, natural hair community? Do we want to maintain separation for X, Y, or Z reason? And if you say yes, what are the reasons? There's no right or wrong. We're just opening up the debate. But I'd like to really have some honest dialogue as to if someone feels some type of way, as the young people say. Why do we feel some type of way about inclusion when it comes to hair? Because I like the word curly. I don't like the word nappy. That's me. I don't like that word. So I say that I have curly hair. I say that I have textured hair. If I take my hair and I wrap it around my finger, I will get a little coil or curl that springs back. An Asian woman could not take her straight hair and go like this and have a curl spring back. So I embrace the word curly when talking about my hair. So if Sarah and I, because I visited your Instagram, both use Carol's daughter products, then why can't we have some type of joint commonality that brings us together instead of saying, well, I'm black and you're white, so you can't be a part of the same natural hair community that I'm a part of. So if anyone takes issue with any of the things, please enlighten me. Let's jump in. Robin, I'd like to now just start with you.
Well, my opinion is that I think that everybody can be included into the natural hair community if we're going by the strictest of the definition.
Mhm.
And while I do, and I understand and I respect that there are naturals out there that are saying that as African American women, we need to have a space that's safe for us to just be able to discuss issues around our hair, such as the political issues of how can we wear it at work, well, I don't like this or I don't like that. You have bosses probably saying to you that you need to change your hair in order for you to work here. Those types of issues, I think those gear more towards race than they do hair texture. So if you're going to talk about the community, there are those issues, and I have a mixed race family where they don't have curly hair. Their hair is straight, but they still identify as half African American, but they don't have the same issues. Well, wait a minute, you can't claim that. So I think a lot of the issues we have are geared around race, and those issues make us a lot more sensitive and therefore kind of close us off to accepting someone who really was just sharing her experience about her hair. She was asked these questions. Sarah's here. She can attest to that. She was asked the questions, and she was honest about it. And I think that we do need to be able to be inclusive. We have struggled our own way with the texture typing and the curl typing, and we bicker, if I can use that word, amongst ourselves in describing what our hair looks like. We can't even agree upon it amongst us as African American women. So to come across as, you know, distant and no, you can't be included because you're not black, then we're putting something else onto it. And I understand that there's other issues about that, which, you know, it being inclusive and, you know, why do we feel the need that we need to do that, or we're being apologetic. And I don't think it's anything like that. I think it's just people have just come to the realization that, you know, we don't have time to bicker about these things when we really could be learning from each other. And we wasted a lot of time doing that instead of just taking advantage of an opportunity that has come up.
I think everything that you said was awesome. I have two questions regarding what you just said. The first would be, so you talked about the layer now of race and politics, so you opened up that dialogue. Do you think that there are some African American women who are uncomfortable discussing those things if there are white women or biracial women, Hispanic women? I have a friend who's Dominican who has really curly hair, and they have the same issues. Other ethnicities, do you think there's a discomfort level, an insecurity maybe about discussing those things amongst the other?
I would say yes. I think that, like I said, we feel that, I mean, I'm guilty of this myself, that we feel that we need a comfortable space to be able to discuss those things amongst ourselves. Maybe we feel that someone of another race wouldn't be able to relate to that or understand where we're coming from in regards to that. But like I've said on previous posts, and I've talked to Mama Day about this, I get compliments, and I get way more compliments from people of other races about my hair. When I speak to other black people, it's always like, so what do you do to get your hair to look like that? Or are you ever going to straighten it? It's always something in the negative. It's never something that's embracing, or we're getting ready to discuss that. Or somebody looks at me like, really? You're not going to straighten your hair? That kind of thing. So I definitely think it's more of a comfort level, and they really don't know how real, to use, you know, the vernacular, they can be if someone of another race is in on the conversation.
Thank you, Robin, for that. So Mama Day and Sean and Sarah, what do you think about that? So if there is a community, whether it's an online community, a magazine, a website, a blog, a meetup in your city, how do you feel about whatever your personal struggles, experiences, issues are with your natural hair? How do you guys feel about opening up that dialogue in front of non-African American women, I guess, for lack of a better word? How do you guys personally feel about having that conversation in front of women that are not like you?
I'll go ahead. As far as the natural hair community and other races being included in that, I don't really have an issue with that. But my issue is more so with, and these, I guess, can be considered maybe the same, or I consider them different. The natural hair community and the natural hair movement, I think, are two separate issues or two separate things. The natural hair movement to me was brought about for African Americans. and the stigma around our hair has been years back. And as far as that, I don't think other races can relate to the issues that we have had to deal with as far as that, as far as the natural hair movement. Now, when I hear other races talk about natural hair, normally they're talking about, and I'll say Caucasian women, I hear them referring to the color of their hair. I never really hear them talking about the texture. It's more so the blonde, that they're natural because their hair isn't dyed blonde or isn't dyed, that type of thing. I've never really heard other races refer to their hair natural because of the texture. It's just other things behind that. So, I mean, as far as being comfortable about talking about it with other races, I don't really mind that. If they come to the meetups or come to natural hair events, I think that's fine. But as far as being included in the overall stigma around natural hair, I really don't think they can relate to that. And so I just really don't agree that they understand what the natural hair movement is really about. That's my opinion.
So before I let you respond, Mama Day, so let's now take this word, the words that we're saying. So we're saying white or non-black women can't understand, can't relate, haven't dealt with the same struggle, and don't understand the stigma attached. So when we say things like that, now I'm thinking about public perception and psychology and what we think and how we feel that others perceive us. Is that now society's issue, or is it our own personal issue? And as we segue into this, I want to talk about everyone's personal experiences with coming to terms with natural hair, because I bet that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all 7 of us have a very different story as to how we went natural, why we decided to go natural, what the process was. So, Mama Day, I want you to answer that first question. Sarah, while I'm thinking about it, so my question for you, which piggybacks off of what Robin said, is: have you ever felt any type of pressure or discrimination for wearing your hair curly as a white woman? I mean, because if you are going to talk about beauty standards and public perception, it is straight blonde hair blowing in the wind, and it's blue eyes, and it's Victoria's Secret, and it's thin. There aren't even very many Caucasian models who wear curly hair. So let's just throw that out there. Let's chew on that. And Mama Day, let's go back to the question of whether or not you feel comfortable expressing yourself, your concerns, your natural hair rants in front of others that are not black in the natural hair community.
I think I have to be honest. So I'll be honest. I think I would hold back. I think I would hold back some, and I think I would hold back for comfort for them, I think. And so I think I wouldn't go if I had a rant like in reference to, my hair being considered unprofessional at work, and why is that because of the European standards. I think because I wouldn't want to insult them, I would be holding back. To be all honest, I personally think, I would be trying to make them comfortable, and I think in some type of manner that kind of squashes the whole purpose of me freeing myself. So I'm not saying that they're not allowed to come within that, and they're welcome thoroughly. And I think I don't know. I think I would feel limited, to be honest. I think I would feel limited because I wouldn't want, because I would already feel like, well, they're here and there's not many of them, and they're probably already feeling uncomfortable, and I don't want to make anyone more uncomfortable by like pointing out, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think I would hold back, and I think in essence that would kind of not free me because I'm making somebody else comfortable, and in a larger portion, I don't know. I think that's just my honest opinion. I hate to say it, and it's not that I'm very free and I'm very open, but if we have to be 100% honest, yeah.
All right. While we think about the next thing that we're going to all comment on station identification, I want to welcome you, if you're just joining us, to Entwine Couture presents the BAN's Guide to Untangling Textures and Unifying the Natural Hair Community. I am your host and moderator for the evening, Brittany Oniki, and we have two panelists who are joining us at the 9 o'clock hour. So Coretta and Kim, if you guys will go ahead and introduce yourselves and your affiliation to the audience, and then we will go to Sarah's response to the question I asked her a few minutes ago, and then Coretta and Kim, I'd like you ladies to go ahead and just join in the conversation. So the things that you've heard, as you guys have been tuned in with us, what just are your thoughts about the things that you've been hearing? So Coretta, hi, how are you?
Hey, I am Coretta, and I have a YouTube channel, Beauty Essentials, where I do beauty, hair, all of the above. So, yeah. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hi everyone, my name is Kim Lewis. I am actually a friend of Mama Days. We met at the World Natural Hair Show back in April. I am the co-founder of the Natural Hair Academy, which is a social network for women with natural hair. So you guys can check that out whenever you get a chance. And so yeah, I've been watching the conversation since it started, even though I've just gotten on. So yeah.
Well, welcome, ladies, and I know you guys have wonderful comments and information to add to the conversation, and I'm excited you guys are here. So, Sarah, back to the question I asked about 4 or 5 minutes ago about any maybe discrimination, discomfort that you may have experienced or ever, and if you haven't, then that's fine too. But it's just a curious question that I have. I think that we may assume a lot of things, and it might be just cool to ask the question and see what kind of response you give.
Okay, well, as far as having curly hair, I would say I don't think I experienced a ton of discrimination, but I do agree that there aren't very many models that have curly hair, and it's not an image we always see in magazines or anything. I also will say that sometimes you'll get comments at school like, your hair's so poofy or your hair's so frizzy or stuff like that, which isn't very nice. So, and I think a lot of women that message me on Facebook and YouTube will have relaxed their hair or they're straightening their hair like every single day because they want it to be straight. So I think that there's definitely some social pressures for white women and Latino women and women of other races to keep their hair straight.
Okay, so politics and race aside, from both sides, we hear that there is something that's more socially acceptable about straight hair. So for whatever reason, black or white, we are seeing from the panel that there is just something that's more socially acceptable about wearing straight hair. So does anybody want to comment on whether or not race now heightens that or amplifies it? Or is this something that we can still relate to one another on this common thing of feeling that we need to wear our hair straight in order to be socially accepted?
I want to add, you guys, I had Facebook comments and everything. So Tim O made a comment, who's a Caucasian gentleman, and he says he remembers when he was growing up, there were white girls and Hispanics who he knew who had naturally nappy hair. Because their hair didn't look like everyone else's, they had to straighten their hair so they wouldn't be picked on, and because they were different. And so he's in his 60s. So I think that answers the question right there. And I know I have a Caucasian girl at my job whose hair is, I think she knows I'm picking her. I think there's got to be some black in there somewhere because that stuff is probably as kinky as mine. And, she's all Caucasian, and her hair is very frizzy. She keeps it in a ball because she says it's just too much to handle. It's just too unruly. So I think I think this is like a mind-opening experience that, what, we have our struggles to embrace hair, and we're pressured to put our hair straight, but they are too. And I just think we just never thought about it because I personally, I'm a little ignorant to it. I'll admit I was ignorant to it. I thought, it was all fine the way it was, and evidently they have to work to straighten theirs out, and it's more than just putting a blow dryer to it and working with it. They have some effort as well.
I mean, quite honestly, I had a Caucasian roommate in college, and I thought the same thing. I mean, if I had to wash my hair every 2 days and then deal with the blow dryer, I mean, she would wake up early. She would not turn the light on so as not to wake me up because she had an 8 o'clock class, but she's up at 7 to blow dry the hair, and she's rushing a sorority, so she's got to be perfect. And I mean, dude, that is why I don't have hair. That is why I'm Team Pixie all day long. This is why my hair is short. So, I mean, you know what I say at the end of every show. It is just hair, but that's just me. At the end of every show, I say it is just hair. I think that women in general deal with pressures from society across all races. We all have to deal with men, right? Of whatever race that you're a part of, and there are issues that come with that and layers that come with that. And then there are politics to being women that while race adds another layer, there are still a lot of commonalities. And I think that if we try harder to find those instead of focusing on the negatives, I just think it'd be a kumbaya, better place to be. So Kimberly and Coretta, you guys are just joining the conversation. Coretta, I saw your hand, your church hand. So what were you gonna say?
Oh, I'm Kim. Oh wait, CJ, did you have your hand up? I didn't know. I'm sorry.
No,
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't.
So I have a Caucasian roommate also, and she straightens her hair every day. And so I've kind of always been aware that the Latinas and women Caucasian descent, they all have, well, not all, but many of them do think that they have, in their cultures it is an idea that you have to straighten your hair to be beautiful. I mean, think about the Brazilian blowout, or so that is true. However, I don't know that the same pressures of discrimination will be put in each of those cultures. Like in our culture, I feel like our hair was vilified, so much so that you can be fired for it. So I had a friend, right? She's a senior in college, and she has her first internship, and I think she's working in corporate. And her boss insulted her in front of the entire administration, saying that your hair is unkept, it looks messy, don't wear it to work that way. She wore a braid out. And her hair isn't like, I mean, her hair is, I would say, average length. And she was like, yeah, I'm gonna have a meeting with him. Do you have any suggestions? And I told her, well, I think the biggest issue is uneducation. So that's why I'm all a fan of, being a supporter and reading the blogs. But I don't know that I would say that women who are not the minority should be featured in those minority blogs, only because I feel like there's so many other outlets. And so I guess my question was for Sarah would be, do they discuss curly hair in those other outlets, or is it only about straight hair? Because I wouldn't know. I don't really read them, but I was just guessing that maybe you did, and I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about that?
I'm not sure what outlets to think of. I mean, if you're talking about, there are definitely blogs by other girls with curly hair, other girls that are white or Latina or what have you, and they talk about curly hair, and sometimes it comes up on just like a general beauty website. But yeah, I'm trying to remember what the rest of your question was.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just rambled. But I guess what made you choose Curly Nikki? I know that you were in the forum and they said, hey, if anyone's interested. But I guess what brought you to it versus like some other mainstream media blog?
I chose Curly Nikki because I had read it before. I've been reading it for like a couple years on and off, and I just liked the blog. And I went to read like the blog's description, and I didn't see anything that sort of designated as a space just for African American women. And I was sort of like, well, if they accepted me to be featured, I would think it was okay. But so that was sort of the reason why I went ahead and contacted them.
Gotcha.
Really quickly, so that brings up an interesting point. So Sarah, when you received the invitation and did your research, and honestly, did race enter your mind? Did you say, oh, I see Curly Nikki's picture, she's African American, I am now speaking to an African American audience? Or did you just see a curly hair blog who happened to have an African American writer? And those two things are very different. It's subtle, but they're different. Because I think let's say as a makeup artist, to inject my totally different talking hair and makeup, But if I were to receive a phone call from Glamour who wanted me to do a model versus a phone call from Essence, I would just see magazines who were looking for makeup artists, and I don't think I would do anything differently with an invitation from Essence or Glamour, because I would just keep the arena as makeup and I would just do what I do. So if you're talking hair, did you ever consider, oh, this is an African American blogger, so the community is different, or this is a curly hair blogger who happens to be African American and you didn't even consider race?
Mm.
Since I've been reading Curly Nikki for a while, I definitely noticed that most of the blogs are about women about African Americans. But I have noticed there are occasionally like someone who's a little racially ambiguous, or in the past she's featured people of other ethnicities. So I definitely noticed that the blog mainly featured African American women. I didn't know beforehand exactly how the audience was so heavily African American.
And so since June, since your post went up, and I'm sure there were tons of comments, I don't know whether you read all of them. How do you feel about your decision to be featured on that blog, and what have been your experiences since being on it?
So when the blog post went live, there was a lot of comments immediately down in the comment section on the blog, and then they were on Facebook, and then I sort of tweeted some stuff because people started sort of mentioning me in tweets, not really tweeting at me, but just mentioning me in interesting things. I sort of tweeted what I thought about some of the responses, and then Twitter just sort of started blowing up with stuff about it. I think I'm happy that I did the blog post. I don't know if I could go back. I don't know if I would or not, just because a lot of the response has been very negative, not just like people who wish the post wasn't there, but very negative and insulting towards me personally, which is never fun. But I think it's nice that it's opened up this conversation. So, yeah. And I don't know if you want me to keep going on about the blog post or not.
No, this is everyone's forum to talk about this particular topic of discussion. And now that you have this platform to speak, if you have things that you would like to say, please feel free.
Please, yeah.
Definitely.
Sarah, do you feel a part of the community?
I feel like I'm sort of a part of the community and sort of not, because there are many women who would like the natural hair community to be inclusive, and then there are many women who would like it to be exclusive. So I'm sort of in between.
Where do you want to be?
I would like to be in the community, I think, because I read the blogs and I watch a lot of the YouTubers, so I feel like I'm constantly reading content from the community. So.
And I have to throw in there, like, Sarah does the freaking lock method, okay? So I don't know about y'all, but that threw me because I knew when the oil was something that white girls went away from. Excuse my language. I don't want to sound racist when I said that just now, but the ones I knew were like, oh no, I have to wash this oil out. I about fell off my chair when I saw her doing the lock method. So I was like, what? So, I'm sorry. I just had to throw that in. I couldn't help it. I watched that video. I was like, what? She does the lock method. Oh, that just breaks my heart. She wants to be part of the community and feels opposite from it. But, yeah, I hear you. Sorry. Go ahead.
It just brings up a lot of interesting points. Like you mentioned that she does the lock method. So if that's not a point of commonality, that someone even knows what that is, I don't know what it is. If you can't figure out how to have a 30-minute conversation about, oh, so what oil do you use? And what's your favorite? And like, there's so many things that you could talk to Sarah about that have nothing to do with skin color if you can get past it. But I will be the first person to say that depending on your childhood, your background, the city, the state that you grew up in, and what your experiences with race have been,
It's very different regionally.
For some people, it's all you see. And for other people, over the course of 10, 20, 30 years, you are able to smooth it out and see other things. So I am not going to be insensitive to the fact that whether you grew up in Arkansas, Nebraska, Mississippi, Atlanta, New York, or California, that your experience with race is totally going to be different. So I don't want to oversimplify this in any way, shape, or form about how, with that layer that race adds to this discussion in this country. I'm not oversimplifying it at all. I just like to put the notion on the table that if we are just talking about hair, if we can find a way to just add some lightness to the situation and just have a community, because see, now I'm going to get into my feminist rant, have a community of women who deal with some of the same things, black, white, or other. And everything doesn't have to be so staunchly aligned. Like either you're black and you get it, or either you're a woman and you get it, and da 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 da. Like there can be some overlap. You know, I could have a white friend, and then I could have a black friend, and we talk about our children and our issues with we can't find any men, and then we deal with these. There can be overlap in communities, and we can kind of weave in and out, find the support that we need, gather the information that we need, find the community that we need. I don't think that we need to be all or nothing aligned with any particular group if there's information that can be gained from bobbing and weaving. So what are you guys thoughts on that? And then I'm going to go to the text box. So we got a lot of viewer comments that are coming in, lots of things. As a matter of fact, let's go to some of those things. So Asha's mom says that she sees nothing wrong with inclusion. She doesn't think that it threatens the natural hair movement at all. And let's see. She said, I know that we all don't think this way, and a disagreement is okay. So it's okay to disagree and be on either side of it, but Asha's mom thinks that inclusion is a wonderful thing. It's the way to go. So we have been doing a lot of talking, so everybody let's just jump in and respond. Lots of things have been said. If something has been said that you want to respond to, go for it. Anybody?
I want to say, I'm sorry, honey. I do have Caucasian friends, female friends, and one of my good coworkers, friends that I used to work with, and she's not the only one. So I guess that she puts a perm in her hair for it to be curly. I guess I've never known, or if I have, I can't recall, of a white friend or white females that I know so dead set on having straight hair. I've never known that to be true of the people that I've grown up with and dealt with. Like I said, she puts a permanent hair and it looks kind of like Sarah's hair. So I mean, it's fine. That's what I'm saying. I've never known that to be. So maybe that's some education for me, because I've never known that side of it. I've always seen, white girls wanting to have curly hair. Not as curly as probably us, but I mean, loose curls to me, it looks like Sarah, her hair is kind of loosely curled, and it's pretty. And I just, that's the part that I guess I'm kind of, it's kind of weird to me as far as it goes.
I think it goes back to that layer that I talked about race and depending on the city and state where you grew up. Can I ask you where you
But when you
up?
said Nebraska, I put my thumb up because I'm from Nebraska.
Oh, I didn't see your thumb.
Yeah, you probably did. Yeah, when you said Nebraska, I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, I was born and raised in Nebraska.
Okay, I just tried to look at a map and go, okay.
Oh no, that was funny that you said that. Yeah. No, I'm from Nebraska, but the lady that I'm referring to, I live in the DMV now, but the lady I'm referring to, she's from Virginia. She was born and raised in Virginia. So, yeah, she puts a perm in her hair. So, and it's pretty. I mean, we never had chances to talk about hair issues, but I just never knew it to be an issue of, Caucasian women just being, hassled for their hair not being straight.
I don't know if it's a hassle so much as a social acceptance.
Yeah.
I think that's more where we were going, because Sarah said she didn't really feel any discrimination. I don't think that my college roommate felt discrimination, but I know that she certainly felt prettier with her blowout. I mean, her words, she felt prettier. She freaked out when it rained, just like we did when we, if we ever had a relaxer and it was like, I just got this relaxer like 2 hours ago and it is raining. How dare Jesus in the rain? She had that same reaction to the rain. Hi, Lisa. She had the same reaction to the rain. So she certainly felt prettier with straighter hair. So I don't know if it's discrimination so much as a self-esteem kind of social beauty standard kind of thing. So who else
I
wanted
feel
to?
older with straighter hair, so I feel I look older when my hair is straighter. But I think to go back to the regional thing, I definitely think that it has a lot to do with where you live. I mean, where you've grown up. I've had the good fortune to be able to be born and raised in Seattle, Washington, and I live in Tacoma. And I lived in Philadelphia for about 6 years. So, and I was natural there too. So it was definitely different being natural there than here. I got a lot more sideways glances. People didn't know. It's like, well, I even got the is she gay or straight conversation happening towards me. It's like, because it was short, it was really curly like it is now. It's like, why does that even enter in to anybody's thought process as to what I am? It's always a question, and I'm not sure whether or not Sarah gets this, but there's always a question, especially for Black women, in regards to our hair and us being feminine and being seen as women and being more attractive. And even when you look at Black female athletes, how they, tend to make themselves look more feminine. So they'll have the, painted nails, they'll wear a little bit more makeup, and it's just not to take away from their athleticism, but just to let other people know that I'm a woman too, and you need to see me as that. And so we're constantly competing between these two ideals of what femininity is or what it's supposed to look like. Does it look like my hair is supposed to be straight, or can I wear my hair curly? Why do I have to constantly deal with these constant definitions of what I'm supposed to be like as a woman? And I think our hair is just one more thing to define that. As curly-haired women, as African-American women, as Hispanic women, or any woman with curly hair. I just think for Black women it is different simply because it's just one more reminder that here's a Black woman. Her hair is kinky, she's got these features, and when your hair is shorter, it's in your face. There's just no way to hide that any longer. Because I can tell you right now, anybody who's ever had a relaxer, your hair does not grow out of your head that way. And anybody who thinks that is deceived. It just doesn't. And I think those are issues too. But growing up here in Washington, I don't have these issues with people wanting to touch my hair and being offended by that. I have more people. I had a woman, she was a white woman, who came up and banged on my car window, and I'm looking at her like, who is this crazy woman? And all she wanted to do was compliment my hair. She said, your hair is beautiful. How did you get to do it that way? Because she has a granddaughter, and she doesn't know what to do with her hair. And so I was like, wow, really? I mean, I was complimented. I was happy about that. And we went, I talked to her about what she could get in Target and all these things she could do to help with her granddaughter's hair. It turned into a good conversation. So that was kind of like a rambling conversation to kind of encompass everything that we've talked about so far. But it's just, all of those things can be inclusive as long as, we also are honest with ourselves that some of these conversations are going to be ugly. They're not going to be pretty, whether you put lipstick on it or not. It's going to be an ugly, uncomfortable conversation sometimes.
That is very... Oh, who's that? Kim? Go ahead, Kim.
Yeah, it's just a quick comment, Brittany. I totally understand the inclusiveness. I mean, I went to a traditionally white institution, and so some of my really good friends in college were white, and I totally understand the point of making it inclusive. But I know that when you do things like that, so I look at Black Greek sororities and fraternities, right? I'm not really pro-Greek. That's just not my thing. But my best friend is, right? And if it was available to everyone, it would almost lose its value. And the reason that it's held in such high esteem is because it's exclusive and it's in our community and people have formed a sisterhood or a bondhood. I mean, a bond. And so I think it would be very difficult for people who have been on opposite ends of the spectrum for the last, 100 years, 200, 300, whatever you want to say, to come together and form a sisterhood and an organization and a movement that was founded upon our differences. To just kind of lump everybody together doesn't seem fair to the people who've experienced those differences for all these years. And then I also wonder if the movement loses its value if everyone can be a part. Those are just, I don't know, playing devil's advocate.
Wait, I want to jump on that one. Okay, so coincidentally, me and my husband were talking about this. So I was saying, I was talking to Craig about Sarah, and I said, well, well, she is natural, and Craig was like, eh, it's that kind of. I was like, babe, it's the hair out of her head, and he was like, yeah, it's the hair out of her head, and then he gave me a great story. He said, Stas, he said, yeah, the more I thought about it, yes, her hair is natural. He said, I guess it's kind of like when Malcolm X realized Muslim was not just the black man. So when he went over to Israel, you get my point? Everybody follow me on this. When he first went over where he lived in the United States, every Muslim he knew was a black man. But then when he went over to Israel, he realized there were white Muslims, there were Indian Muslims, there were black Muslims. It's just one of those things. If you get my point, is I understand. I think the whole purpose of what's going on, and it's rightfully so, and in a sense I feel it too. I kind of want to link all of us black women together, and we grow and we get stronger. But in the other essence, I have to kind of look at it as, you know what, Sarah finds comfort in, when I'm saying Sarah, I'm saying the Sarahs. The Caucasian women that have curly hair are more accepted in our community than they are in theirs. If that makes sense. Sarah changed, correct me if I'm wrong. She's more accepted with her curls here than she is in her world. So to me, that makes me feel as if, you know what, I'm helping Sarah embrace her curls. That's empowering. It's the opposite way. I think you have to look at it as the cup is half full. Me as a black woman, and I'm encouraging a Caucasian woman or a Latino woman to embrace her curls. That's strong. If y'all look at it that way, that is strong and beautiful, and it's not the other way around. It's not a Caucasian girl telling me, oh, you should straighten your hair because it looks tacky. It's me telling that Caucasian girl, if you use this product, your curls would pop. You see my point? And so I think everybody is looking at it in a totally different spectrum, and I want to give you a bigger spectrum. Look at it as the cup is half full. Look at it as that you're in helping her embrace her curls, and she feels more comfortable with you than you feel more comfortable with her. I don't know. I just when Craig told me that, I was like, holy cow, Craig, that was awesome. It just made such a strong, empowering point to me. And I think everybody, and I'm not saying everybody should get it like that, and I'm not saying that it's wrong for you to think of it the way you think of it. There's nothing wrong. I think there's no wrong answer tonight as well as beyond tonight. But I think I want people to see things from a different view. I want people to see that, you know what, it's not, it's empowering. You're empowering a woman to accept her race, and it's not just us. We're doing something bigger than us.
I agree. I think that's a really good point, and I think to kind of further to string that illustration along, I think the empowering sense that you're getting is for an African woman to have had her own struggle with race, hair, self-esteem, to get to the other side of that, and then to be able to reach back and bring another woman along through her process, black, white, or other, is an empowering thing. So to that point, I think that was very well said. And in saying that, I think that is an excellent segue for us to talk very specifically about our own journey to natural hair. Now, there may be some of you on the panel who've never had a relaxer. You had parents who were, Afrocentric and kind of part of this community in the 60s and 70s, and so you may have never had a relaxer, or you may have had one and then gone back and forth. Whatever your experience was, whatever, as Oprah says, that aha moment was where you decided, I am no longer relaxing my hair, and this is where I'm going to start seeking information, because at some point, I think all of us had to seek information. I know I did. I had to go online and find out what this was all about and what these products were and seek information. So that's an awesome, awesome way to kind of segue into each of our own experiences of going natural. And Coretta, I'm going to start with you.
Okay. Well, for me, how did I go on my journey? I initially went, well, first let me just say, as far as everything, I kind of feel like the confusion comes in where I think one of the other panelists said it earlier. I think we have two things. We haven't necessarily clear defined what's going on. I think we have a natural hair movement by which we can relate to struggles, discrimination, like Tim said, somebody being fired from their job for the type of hair that they have. And then we have a natural hair journey whereby, we do maybe like, Sarah. I know what I'm trying to say, but it's not coming out right. Where we're on a journey and we're learning new techniques, we're learning how to better manage our hair. So for me, when I went on my journey, I was thinking, okay, I want to try it. It wasn't in the movement category. My struggle didn't come until after I started on my natural hair journey, and it didn't come from outside people. It was in my house. Like my coworkers was like, okay, I like your hair that way. I like your hair this way. But my husband didn't get adjusted to it until a little bit later. So that's kind of where my confidence level kind of took off because I'm like, you know what? This is the hair that grows out of my head, and I'm going to be confident in it no matter what. And then when I started to be confident in my hair and started to style it in different ways, and he saw that, then he started to give me compliments. So that's how I started my journey. It was just about me wanting to see how it went with my hair because I hadn't seen my hair since I was not even sixth grade, really. And so I was like, okay, I want to see how I can do my hair. And then he got all the YouTube videos. I was like, okay, I can do that. I can do this and I can do that. And so that's how I started my journey. It wasn't rooted in a struggle. I wasn't discriminated against. I didn't have any stigmas or anything. It was just about me doing something new.
And how long has it been for you so far?
2 years.
How many years? I'm sorry?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years. I didn't think I would make it. There's so many times I was like, forget about it. I'm going back. But I transitioned for a little bit. I kept a short, when I grew up, my hair was really long. And then as I got older, I kept a really short kind of Halle Berry cut. And I transitioned a little bit from that. And then I did my big chop. So I transitioned a little bit. Then I did my big chop. And I haven't looked back since.
Mama Day?
Oh, shoot. Sorry. Okay, I didn't know I was going. I don't know. Mine so much wasn't a struggle. I think once I had made my mind up to it that I wanted to go natural, I transitioned for 9 months because my husband wasn't about that big chop life. And so I transitioned for him so he wouldn't be walking around with a Sinead O'Connor wife. So and I was supposed to transition for 2 years, but I don't know, it was shampoo day and I saw them little coils and I was like, oh girl, bye. I was like, nah, let me get those scissors out the drawer, and I cut my hair after 9 months. But yeah, that was it for me. I mean, I didn't really, once I cut my hair, it was like my poor husband, I didn't know if he was going to be able to contain himself because then my youngest daughter was like, "Ooh, I want to transition," and he was like, "Okay." And then she went natural. She went to the transition phase, and then my oldest was like, "I just want to shave it off," and he was like, "What in the world?" He was like, "Stacey, you just caused this uprising in my household." But I mean, yeah, I didn't really have a struggle. I just, once I put my mind to it, I did it and I accomplished it, and it's been 4 years and I haven't looked back.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go. I had long natural hair when I was a kid, 6 years old, and my grandmother was Mexican and Native American, and she couldn't do my hair. So she put a relaxer in it. Even my mother told her not to. And so after that, I just kept getting them because I guess my grandmother was still watching me and didn't know how to do my hair. I kept it until I was 18. I started developing alopecia, so my hair was coming out on like the front crown. So I decided I would go natural. And I think it was 3 months. I had 2 different textures, and I was like, "This is not for me. This is for the birds." And so I was in my dorm room with my husband. He was my boyfriend back then, and I was just like, "Cut it off, just cut it off." I gave him some kitty scissors, and he was like, "You take the first chops." I was like, "All right," and then I let him do it. He left me real low, like right on this side. But I didn't. Very supportive, and that's my journey.
That's cool.
I'll go. It's like I don't even, we use these terms like journey and things like that. It's just funny to me because I've been natural off and on several times in my young years. And I mean, it's like, I think this is probably like the longest I've been natural. And before I just cut my hair, that's the longest it had been since probably like I was in high school. And I was in a car accident and I couldn't do my hair. It's like I couldn't bend over to do anything. I couldn't lift my arms up over my head. And so by the time I was able to actually wash my hair, it was a mess. And so I said, I'm just going to go natural. I'm going to transition for a little while. And I did that. And then you get to that point where it's like, I just don't want to deal with 2 different textures. And I just cut it off. And I rocked the TWA for a little while and watched it grow out. And it was kind of shocking to see my adult face with short natural hair, but as it grew out, I just kind of got used to it, and I actually like my hair shorter. It's easier to deal with, and it's a lot more fun, and, you know, it's been interesting over since I've been on this total journey that I've been on for the past 3 years. It's been very interesting dealing with, you know, journey and movement and learning all of the new things, that what we call things now versus when, you know, my mom was doing my hair. That's not what it was. It was, you know, the towel, get some hair grease, just condition it with whatever we had, and it was like the worst shampoos, drying, you know, nothing looked right. Your hair just always seemed, it looked shiny, but it was always dry. So they just have all of these different things, and looking how far it's really come in dealing with our natural hair in the 30-plus years since my mom was doing it, and now that I'm doing it and doing my daughter's hair, which is a completely different texture altogether.
Cool. So for Sean and Sarah, I'm going to come back to you in a couple minutes, but I know Mama Day has something that we wanted to bring up before the show wraps. And I also want to encourage all of our viewers, if you are still tuned with us, thank you for joining us on the BAN's Guide to Unifying the Natural Hair Community. And when you go over to our website, which I suggest you do, www.entwinecouture.com, we are offering free shipping. No code needed. That's free shipping. So go check out our complete line of products. My personal favorite will be the Aphrodisia 9 leave-in conditioner and the raw vegan argan oil. So you can check those out and then peruse the rest of the products and decide what you want to add to your cart. Press buy and then get free shipping. So as you guys do that, Mama Day, go ahead and talk to us about the comments. We're talking curl envy here, what exactly that means, and then I know Mama Day wanted to bring up a point. So it's on you.
Okay, so I wanted to, I saw Millie, is it Millie's comment earlier, and I wanted to jump on it. Let me find it. Hold on. Millie says, I still find that women that aren't black, even if their hair is curly like ours, act as if they're better than others. Ooh. Okay, Millie. So, I mean, I'm sensing a little upsetness there. So we're going to get into this because I think it's a whole big texture discrimination thing, and I think, you know, in part that envious comes in from, you know, it's a deeper issue. It, to me, I'm gonna go there. I am about to go there. I feel it's that whole light skin, dark skin, green eyes and chocolate brown eyes, you know, and the whole you know, it all has to start from within. I think my coarse, kinky hair is freaking fabulous, okay? I think my hair is fabulous. All is pre-pooing needed, deep conditioning hair. I think it's fabulous. I think it starts within. And the funny thing is I like to go into a whole lot is you don't know what that woman's world is, but her hair might look good. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's all about the one thing about that texture discrimination thing is it is freaking hair and it's a style. And if you love how loose her hair is, honey, it's called a two-strand twist. It's called a braid out. It's called some flex rods. You can make your hair look just as fabulous as her hair. And I always want to jump on people and say the grass is always greener on the other side. Is she may have that beautiful loose curly hair, but she got to do her hair every night. My beautiful kinky curly hair, I can have that twist stop rocking for 3 to 4 days, and all I got to do is put a bonnet on her at night. So I think it comes with, we got to let this whole texture thing, let it go. We have got to learn to start looking in the mirror, facing that woman or that man that's in that mirror. And if you have to get a sticker, you look her or him in the face every morning and you say, you are beautiful exactly how God made you. If you focus so much on that person in the mirror, all that other won't go. Because she may act all stuck up, but she may be acting like that because she has some insecurities, and that's the only way she can feel beautiful. So you never know what a person is going through, or you never know, and you're just basing it on her hair or how she acts. And I just think people need to, if you focus more so on actually getting to know a person, because trust me, I had a friend that I call her my friend now. I couldn't stand that heifer. I could not stand her because I thought she was so stuck up. I thought she was so stained and all on her stuff, and she was light skinned with that wavy hair, and she used to get on my last nerve. And the funny thing about it is, and she was Filipino black, and she had wavy curly hair. Child, after I found out we graduated from high school, she loved my chocolate brown hair and thought I was freaking beautiful. And I was like, Heifer, please, I thought you were the 10 dime of the world. And it was the fact that she loved me and she wanted to be me and I wanted to be her. And it was the fact that we actually had to take the time to get to know each other. And it all started with saying hi. So don't get so stuck up on that. I think if you focus on that person in front of that mirror, if you focus and love yourself, you will love everybody in front of you. Yes, I'm a we are the world type of child, and yes, I think we all should hold hands and love and embrace each other. But daggone it, join me and grab my hand, people. That's all I'm gonna say. Y'all go.
Well, you know what? I agree. You brought up a lot of interesting points, and I think experience and perception is always going to be the number one determining factor in how you view any other person. If you've never met a white person, and then you meet one white person, and you have a terrible experience, the next white person you meet, that's going to be the lens with which you view that person. Whether you believe that or not, it's subconscious and it's subliminal, and it happens. So I think the number one thing is people that are elitist or, stuck up, conceited, snobbish, those people right away. There is no misunderstanding or misconstruing that. You know that, black, white, or other, because there are black people with money. So black is not synonymous with poverty. So there are black people with money. There are white people with money. So when we're talking about feeling like someone is snubbing us, that can come from our own community as well. So that's just the one point that I wanted to make. The second one is going to be perception. So to your point about your friend who just became your friend, I would like to argue that maybe some of the things that you thought made her stuck up and snotty and conceited may have been amplified because she was light skinned and had whatever hair or eye, and you just automatically associated her with Whitley Gilbert, Southern Belle, I'm from Virginia and I summer in the Hamptons. And that may have been your own stuff that you brought to the conversation. And then once those layers are peeled away, you realize, oh, I like Michael Jackson, I like pepperoni pizza, and all of those things that really form a friendship that have nothing to do with the perceptions that your own stuff that you bring to the table. So that's just kind of the interesting points that I feel that you just made and what you said. So does anybody else have anything to say about curl envy? I see something here in the viewer comments that says that I guess we're talking Instagram here, maybe Facebook. Pictures of curly hair get more likes than kinky hair. And what do you think is the root of that? Again, it's perception. If you go to any of my social media, I have an entire Pinterest board where my hashtag is Black Beauty Images, and I have pictures of Maasai women and women in the Ndebele tribe in South Africa, and it's kinky hair all day long. And I have people who follow that board. So I think it's just what you're seeking, you're going to find. If you're looking for, looser texture, wash and go hair, then you're going to find and like those pictures. If you're looking for hair that looks like yours, you're going to find and like those pictures. So that's just my opinion on that. So does anybody else want to go ahead and add to this part of the conversation about curl envy?
I think that I'm sorry. I think that curl envy is associated with like guys, or I want my red bone, or I want my light skin, long hair, don't care type thing. And so I feel like texture discrimination goes hand in hand with like color discrimination as far as preferences. And so I think that pictures that might get more likes with women who are with curlier hair are probably lighter, and that's almost, I want to say, internalized racism. And I hate to say that because I don't want to say that, oh, that we hate ourselves, and that's not necessarily true. But I mean, and over the last few hundred years, we're taught to think that lighter is righter. So it's gonna take a lot longer to change that mentality. Personally, those are just my thoughts.
I agree with that.
I don't agree. I mean, because I know, I have a friend. I always got a friend, but I have a friend that she is dark skin. I mean, dark, beautiful dark skin. Her hair, she has 3A hair. Okay, and she's not the only one. I've seen people like that throughout my life. So I get what you're saying about the color and all that, because 9 times out of 10 that's the case. But there are darker skinned women with looser texture hair. Okay. I think
that's an anomaly, though. I mean,
yeah,
looser curl comes from other races.
I think a lot of it. Well, no, a lot of it. I think some of it has to do with the length of your hair. I think people are so wrapped up into length and big curly. I don't think it matters when it gets to a certain length. I don't think it matters what texture it is. I think a lot of people are so stuck on length. And I mean, I get the looser. I mean, again, there's different pieces to the whole texture discrimination thing. That whole topic really irritates me. But I just think it depends on who we're talking about. I mean, if you have a woman with a big 4C fro, I think she would get a lot of likes on her page. And her hair is not loose. That's just my opinion.
I agree with that.
Do you see what I'm saying? I think it has something to do with length too.
I agree with you, Sean. I do. I think she's got a good point in regards to the whole length issue, because the length issue does speak to the texture discrimination. It's like, but is your hair long? Does it do, I mean, because when it's longer, you can twist it, you can manipulate it a little bit more to where it's like it doesn't really look 4C or 4B or whatever number you are or you're going to characterize yourself as. And being, of a lighter complected person, it's like my hair is kinky, curly, coily all day long. And I can honestly say it's like my hair does not look like hers, and I used to be one of those people that was jealous. I want my hair to do that. So the whole process of, wash and goes and why don't I, it's like, well, I put that product in my hair and you marketed, you said it's supposed to work and it's supposed to stretch and my hair is supposed to look like hers, but it doesn't look like hers. So there's just all these different issues that we have. I mean, like I said before, I have family members whose hair does not look like mine and vice versa. My sister's hair is far kinkier than mine is, and she teases me all the time and says that I have white girl hair. I'm like, what are you talking about? My hair is kinky and it's curly. But I think it just, we're so caught up in, I don't know, in the label of what good and bad is. It's like, it's just a good hair, bad hair argument all over again, and then you put all these other labels on top of that to just further drive a wedge where there doesn't need to be one. The issue is that we're women. We're trying to identify ourselves as beautiful and own that on our own terms, and we're struggling to do that because we're too busy arguing about our texture and whether or not this vitamin is going to make it look longer or it's going to change this and it's not going to change it. We're chasing after something. I think we're still chasing after that Eurocentric type of beauty when we really just need to be embracing our own and accepting that for what it is. And it's just not going to be like everybody else. That's just my take on it.
Very well said. And I think I want to pose a question. Do you need consensus in order to change your thought or public opinion? So if good hair traditionally was a looser curl texture and bad hair was kinky, tight hair with no curl definition, do we really need a popular consensus to now flip that? Or if I say my hair right now is good hair because I say so, am I my own majority? Do we necessarily need consensus in order to change the definition? What do you guys think?
I think we need media to change what they're promoting, and then that's what will change everyone else's mind. We know our hair is good hair, but maybe my friend's boss didn't know that our hair is good hair, or maybe my Mexican friends didn't know. I had a Mexican friend who didn't know that black women's hair grew curly out of their head. He thought it grew straight, and he got upset at my friend for wearing her hair curly. It's like, why are you wearing your hair that way? Doesn't it grow straight? So I think that if we were able to change media's perception, they could help change everyone else's perception.
I agree with that. I totally blame that whole good hair, bad hair thing on the media. I think companies, are huge, responsibility when it comes to that because, I think that whole, jumps in the whole texture discrimination that, they're only supporting it and showing and allowing people that are, wavy, curly, kinky, non-kinky hair, to be part of the advertisement, basically the sponsors or the spokespersons for natural hair. And I think it should be a vast majority. I think it should be more than just one hair type, one or two hair types. It should be a vast of the whole natural hair community. And I think that even jumps in on the consumer complaining about it to make it so. And I think, it's a $1 billion industry. I'm not going to go Martin Lawrence or Martin Luther King on y'all and tell you to boycott. But, I mean, it comes down to, that wallet. and $1 billion industry, all of a sudden, you stop going to beauty salon or you don't buy as much weave and all the other stuff that you used to. They take notice.
Well, that's why all these companies are coming out with these natural hair lines within their, because they need to get a piece of the pie. I mean, some of these companies was strictly
relaxers,
hair grease, relaxers, hair grease, that type of thing. Now they want to come out because they're trying to get that natural hair dollar.
But in a lot of ways, we fed into that because we complained. We said, we need products that work. This is what we want. And then they give it to us, and then we complain about what they give us. So it's kind of like, I know we have to be we have to be careful when we look at the media. The media is there to do its job, and it's done it very well. At the other end of the spectrum, we have to look at, it's like just because it's there and just because product A is over here doesn't mean product A is going to work for customer C. That's why when you go in, at least in my Target, right after the cash registers, the first section is the beauty aisle. And it goes all the way to detergent. It's that big where I am. And it's like there's 3 rows of shampoo. I mean, really, it's all the same product. So we basically look and pick what works for us based on the picture that we see and what we can identify with. So, yes, we want people in these ads that we can look at and say, this is who I identify with. But it also opened up a market for a lot of other black-owned businesses where there wasn't an opportunity before. And we have that now. So we have to look at that and say, not so much where do we fit. Yes, these companies want a piece of that pie because they were doing relaxers 3-4 years ago, and now they're making products that, well, we don't know what are the ingredients in it. But we also have, the Alley K's, and we also have the Entwines, and we also have all these other companies that have come up as a result of our voice being active and proactive in that. And so we need to take credit for that and not necessarily say boo-hoo to these other companies. Yes, call them on the carpet about how they're marketing, but also let the other people know and champion them, the ones that are doing it the right way.
I wanted to jump in on the conversation. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hey, how are y'all? I'm Jonathan. I do the marketing with Entwine, and I've been in the industry for a long time, well over 12 years. I started out working with Carson Products, the makers of Dark and Lovely Relaxer and hair color. I also worked for Saul Sheen Carson, which included the Optimum brands and Carefree Curls and Magic Shades, and I, been working as a marketing consultant for a long time. What I really wanted to say was that truly, black women made naturally kinky, curly hair textures acceptable. When I worked for L'Oreal USA, they really didn't think anything about curly hair. You know what I'm saying? It had no value because, it wasn't where the populace was going. And until, the Miss Jessies and the Carol's Daughter and all those companies actually made this industry valuable, not only valuable but profitable. I can remember when in the category, if it was over $3.99, we wouldn't launch it because they would say no one would buy it. Well, these black women came out with products which were more expensive, better quality, really making natural ingredients popular. But the big thing is that so many of us, I guess our consumer, they feel that they're product junkies. So anything that comes out, they have to try. At some point, we have to say no. We have to actually hold on to something in the industry because we no longer have the beauty supply industry that's gone to the Koreans. We no longer have the hair markets. No major hair companies. General Markets have purchased all those. We continue to purchase the Indian hair and the Remy hair and all this other hair. The only market we have left is the naturally curly hair market. And whether you buy Entwine or buy Miss Jessie's or whomever, at some point we have to say no to the general market because they really, honestly, I'm telling you, I've been in the meetings. They don't really care anything about you, your family, your children. They really don't even care about your hair. The only thing they really care about is the dollar. They care about getting your money. And if you can help a black family in some way or an ethnic family in some way, build an empire that may go back and helping to support the community, I think that's something we really have to start saying no. Thank you for Dark and Lovely, All Natural, and thank you for Cream of Nature, Textures and Tones, and all these other brands and products. They are not really supporting your community like that. So you got to really, say we got to own something at some point and support. So I just wanted to jump in and share that point of view really quick. And hopefully.
Amen.
Stop being product junkies.
I totally agree.
You gotta try everything because you're a product junkie. Say no, it's okay. Let's.
It's so much fun though. Fun, like we have to have that.
Yeah.
So
I embrace my product junkieism. I embrace it.
But it's making people who don't care anything about you very rich.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They don't care anything about our community. Your kids, our families, they don't want you to any ill will, but that's not really ingrained in helping us. And I mean, I know it's hard because it's like, oh, it's so exciting, but we got to say no, and we have to own something at some point.
And I have to add on to it because I was looking at the 2013 consumer for the black African American consumer rate, 83%. 83% of our income goes to hair products. 83%. The next number down was 77, and do you know what that was? That was groceries. So you're telling me instead of feeding our families, we're feeding our hair? Come on, y'all. Like, you got to look at that and pay attention. 83% of it. It's $1 billion industry, and we're making other people's besides our community rich.
Exactly. I was looking at the numbers myself.
And we focused and supported our community. Do you realize how much we can lift each other up?
The numbers are really staggering.
The numbers so are frightening. It is so frightening because we will sit there and people will say, they'll put anything in your hair just to get a curl. and it's sad because we're weak enough to do it. Well, let's stop being weak. Let's start uplifting ourselves. Let's start enlifting our community, our black hair product owners. Let's start lifting up our curl friends. You know, no matter what your texture is, start uplifting and loving each other. Let's start supporting each other and stop hating and stop being a freaking crab in the bucket. I want to say this before this doggone webcast is over. Stop being a crab in the bucket. Everybody learn that rule like Thumper when we watch Bambi. If you can't say nothing nice, don't freaking say nothing at all. That's my rant. I'm done.
All right.
I'm sorry, I needed to take a moment. I just want to go ahead and say that here at Entwine Couture and the BAN's Guide to All Things Fierce, Fabulous, and Fly, we are not about categorizing, labeling, or discriminating about any hair textures, and we encourage all of you to embrace your hair texture and do what works for you. And a part of that embracing is going to be trial and error and trying out a couple of products. But what I know for sure, as Oprah also says, is that Entwine Couture has a wonderful, wonderful line of products, including one of my favorites, the creme jelly styler that I use for my wash and go on my TWA. And I also like to seal that in with the raw vegan argan oil. Right now, we're offering free shipping. So if you have just done the VicTop or you have a TWA or you like doing wash and goes, the creme jelly styler is also an awesome product for you to check out. And I know that it seems like we have a whole lot more time, but we are at the end of today's broadcast. And so I want to go back. I have been saving this viewer comment at the end of the show because I thought that it was a perfect way to kind of summarize. I think we all have made really interesting points. I think that we're pretty much all on the same side of the conversation, which I think is awesome to be on a panel with like-minded women. But Karen J., who went to our Facebook page, says, we have children dying. We have young girls being raped and they're being mocked about it on social media. And the debate that we're having is about who is being considered natural. I refuse to entertain it. And so I think that as we go ahead and we end this conversation, that we really give heed to what is important, that we focus on the positives and less on the negatives, and really look and seek out the things that are going to unify us as a community and how to open the conversation. To open the conversation so that we can have those aha moments like Mama Day had with her friend who she thought would never be her friend, and now they're friends. I think if we have a lot more of those candid conversations, that I think that we can kind of embrace everyone in the community. And so I think that that is probably one of the biggest takeaways that I have from today's webcast. So as we go from left to right on your screen, starting with you, Coretta, go ahead and let everyone know in our audience where they can find you on social media. And if you have any last words, go ahead and add those too.
Well, you can find me on YouTube and on Instagram at Beauty Essentials, pretty much across the board. On Twitter, I am CJ's Spot with a J. And I was just excited to be a part of this conversation. I agree that we should focus more on the positive and not the negative, supporting our Black-owned, which Sarah obviously is doing because she loves our products. And yeah, I think we should focus more on the positive and not the negative, because I think we can get way further doing that instead of wasting time on trivial political things. So that's my take on the conversation.
Absolutely. Mama Day?
Oh, darn. I thought Robin was next. My bad. Hey, y'all. So I am Mama Day. You can find me on YouTube. It's MAMADAYE. I am on Facebook as Mama Day 36, same spelling, and Mama Day _ on Instagram. Follow me and I'll follow you back.
Ms. Robin?
I am on Facebook at The Good Curl. I have my own page there. And I also have my YouTube channel, which I should be uploading some new videos there soon, and that's going to be Robin the Good Curl Josie as well. And I guess my parting words would be, it's just hair. It's going to grow. It's going to do what it's going to do. Just embrace it and find something else more important to talk about on your day-to-day existence, because there are a lot of other things, to keep your time. And just don't take it all so seriously.
Sean, you're up next.
Me? Oh, okay. My YouTube. Well, I thought the other girl was next on my screen, but
Maybe the screen. Then I'm sorry. I thought everybody had the same order.
no, I have.
No.
I'm last on mine.
Oh,
That's okay.
my mistake.
Well, you guys can find me on YouTube. I don't do too many videos, but I'm getting back into doing it. And my YouTube channel is Sands. It's SANDS. It used to be Sands 70, so I don't know if you may have to put the 70 on there for now until I start making more videos. Maybe it'll just be Sands. I also have an Etsy shop, The Queen's Gems, and I make all kinds of jewelry, natural hair inspired jewelry. I actually have some of the earrings I make. This is the lady on my Etsy page, and I'm actually doing a giveaway on my YouTube channel. I am making natural hair t-shirts. This is one of my t-shirts. As you can see, I'm very passionate about texture discrimination. So I will be doing a giveaway for one of those shirts on my YouTube channel coming up maybe next week or the week after. But again, it's Sands, S-A-N-D-S.
Sean, for our viewers out there who couldn't see the graphic, just tell us what it said. What
You can see it. Oh, it's no texture discrimination. Let me see if you can. Can you now see it? Maybe I did it too quick.
Yes,
Can you see
we
it
can
now?
see it now, yeah.
Okay.
I can see it now.
We need to uplift one another. That's my whole mission. Whether it be Sarah or the next sister. I think again, like you used the last comment, quoted the last comment. There are more important things going on in the world than worrying about whose hair is looser than yours and having an attitude about it. So
You're here. So on my screen, Kim, you're next, and Sarah, you're at the end of my screen.
It's the same on my screen as well. Well, actually, no, Sarah's in front of me. But anyway, I am the co-founder of the Natural Hair Academy. So basically, we're a social network for naturals. So just how you log into Facebook and you have a profile and there's a news feed, our site is the same way, but it's just for women with natural hair. So you can find us on the naturalhairacademy.com. Sign up and create an account. Our launch party is this Saturday, so I am going crazy with like all kinds of details. And you can also follow us on Instagram at _NHA. Oh, and my last comment, Sarah, I read the article, and when I read it, I was like, it didn't seem like a big deal to me. And then I saw all the comments, and I was like, oh my God. So even if people feel like you shouldn't be a part of the community, I apologize for the way that some of those people wrote those messages, because they were very, very nasty.
Yeah. Oh, Kim, talk about your launching. You're having a launching party, right?
Yes, our launch party is this Saturday, so we have all kinds of fabulous people. NHA is all about bringing people from different areas of the community together to help everyone. So we have a cosmetic chemist, cosmetic scientist. She helped create Currently, she'll be on the panel. Miss Vaughn TV, Dinero, which is also another YouTube vlogger, a product company owner, a specialty shop owner, and a performer from Real Talk who was just signed with Andre 3000. So, it's Chicago, Illinois. At City Point Law, which is 110 East 23rd Street, something like that. It's on our website if you check out the naturalhairacademy.com. Free entry from 7 to 9:30 p.m. And make sure to RSVP. We have over 300 people already signed up. So we're definitely at capacity, but you can join the wait list, and if people aren't there on time, then you can take their spot. So in Chicago, Illinois.
So we get the VIP, right?
Definitely. I'll put you on. There'll be food and a candy bar and photography and all kinds of stuff. So.
Cool.
Awesome. And then Sarah.
Okay. Yeah, so I think I'm last. So I do a lot of YouTube videos, and I think my name's right underneath me. It's Waterlily716, and you can also find me at that same handle on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And it's been really nice being here on this webcast. This was a really interesting conversation. And yeah, I agree with what most people said to keep things positive. And thanks, Kim, for your apology for the nasty comments, even though you didn't write any of those. There are a lot of really sweet comments, too, on the blog. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. So it's been my pleasure to moderate this webcast with everyone and having all of you wonderful, beautiful, positive, intelligent, vivacious. I can't find enough adjectives for all of you guys being on the panel and all of us coming together to share a common interest and talk about something that's passionate and near and dear to all of our hearts. So for everyone out there watching us on YouTube, again, I am your moderator and host for today, Brittany Oniki, and you have been watching the BAN's Guide to Untangling, Textures, and Unifying the Natural Hair Community. And for the next 3 of you who email us at wecare@entwinecouture.com, we will be giving away a 3-pack of we will be giving away the clutch pack, which includes our new deep conditioner, and it's an awesome hair mask. So if you go ahead and email us right now at wecare@entwinecouture.com, you can have a chance to win one. And remember that we're having free shipping. So go ahead to the website entwinecouture.com and check out our products. And I would also like to keep this conversation going. So underneath the comments on this YouTube page, go ahead and ask questions that haven't been answered, ask comments that weren't read on the screen. Go to Entwine Couture's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and also reference this webcast and post comments, questions, or concerns. I also have a couple of promo pictures on my page. That's at Makeup by Muse. Go ahead and start the conversation there and keep it going. And Mama Day also has some posts on her page, and I believe Coretta as well. So go ahead and let's keep this conversation going in social media. That's what it's for. I would really, really love to use social media as a platform for positivity. So let's just go ahead and keep the conversation going. And until next time, this has been the BAN's Guide to All Things Fierce, Fabulous, and Fly. Ladies, have a good evening. Kim,
Bye.
good luck on your launch party on Saturday.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention it's a simultaneous Twitter party and YouTube streaming. So if you're in Washington or Nebraska and you can't make it out, you can always join in online.
You keep saying Nebraska. Yay, Nebraska! I forgot to mention that this is an Entwine Couture twist out, if anybody.
Yeah.
First time I've used your products, and I love them.
Yes.
Turned out really nice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hashtag fabulous. Hashtag fabulous. So Sarah, thank you for joining us. Mama Day, as always, it's a pleasure. Robin, it was wonderful meeting you. Sean, you as well. And I'm going to check out your Etsy shop because I love big earrings with my short hair.
Thank you.
And Coretta, it's good to see you again as well.
Yes.
And ladies, on that note, good night. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.